What is inclusive hiring? Inclusive hiring, simply for me, is finding the diamonds in the rough. Simply put. What do you mean by that, Pete? Well, it's not having a prejudged notion of your fit for your organisational culture. It's hiring for potential rather than fit for an organisation. It's someone who can bring something different to what you already got. But how can you do that? So when we talk about inclusive hiring, it's not just about what I call identity. Nobody wants to get hired because of their gender, their race, their sexual orientation. That's a no-no. Because when you're going in, the first thing you're then battling is, oh, you're just a number, you're filling a quota. You're not hired for the skill set that you bring. You're not hired for that potential that you bring. So nobody wants to do that, and they're turned off by that. But you do want a different way of thinking. You know, we heard about diversity of thought. That's now leaning much more to neurodiversity, but it's about different perspectives and how do we bring that into the occasion. But it's also about your culture. Is your culture fit for purpose in hiring? It's about your interviewing. Is your interview panel diverse? You know, so people get a feel about who you are. Many organisations have great profiles, diverse pictures on their websites, which is your shop window. But when you go into that organisation, it's quite homogenous, and you're thinking. And now, when we talk about the intersection, when we talk multi-generational, particularly for young people, if you're showing a lot of diversity and people growing up with that and expecting that, and they come into your workplace and it's not reflecting that, they'll walk. You know, they won't hang around to say, oh, so what are you actively doing around diversity, equity, inclusion? Excuse me. They won't ask you your policy like they did in the old days. What are you actively doing? How are you doing it? So you need to ensure that you're kind of being visible. And part of an inclusive hiring process, ensuring that your process is inclusive for the wording. You're aware how biased behaviour can play out at each stage, from the hiring, from the sifting, the interview, post-interview, all that kind of key stages, how bias plays out. What are you doing to review that along the way? And do you provide a fantastic candidate experience? Because even if a candidate then says they didn't get the role, what they can say is, you know, they listened to me, they heard me, I was informed, they made adjustments for me without me even having to ask. Are they saying that about you? Are they going the complete opposite? So yeah, and there's lots of organisations can do to create that, to review, because some organisations never reviewed the hiring process in years, because it's the way they just do things. It's tradition.